Okay guys, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD first impressions time. Nintendo reached out to me after checking out my channel. I'm a huge Zelda fan. If you watch my other videos, I can't get enough of Link and his adventures despite how similar they are. Huge Zelda fan since I was a kid. Loved Ocarina of Time, loved every single one, and Nintendo were gracious enough to advance me a new demo of Skyward Sword HD. So I don't like to waste anybody's time. I want to go ahead and just get into it. What did I think of Skyward Sword HD? Holy shit! The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD absolutely sucks. You want to talk about lazy. You want to talk about scummy practices that developers are implementing. This is below the bottom of the motherfucking barrel. Skyward Sword HD is an absolute monstrosity. Do not give these pricks your money. They don't deserve your money. They deserve to have this game treated like the ET game for the Atari. I want all the copies that they fucking print to be so unsold. I want them to have to sit on them so long that they have to fill them in landfills. They have to throw all of them away because nobody will buy this trash. Alright, first off, we played this 10 years ago. This game isn't relevant. They have not updated anything about this game. It's just as bad as it was back on the Wii. Nobody enjoyed this game. This is the most controversial and the most widely hated Zelda game for one specific reason. Nintendo took the series in the wrong direction. They haven't recovered since, and now they're bringing the game that caused such controversy back. And they're having the gall to label it the HD Definitive Edition. No, you can polish up a piece of shit. It's still a piece of shit at the end of the day. Nobody talks about Skyward Sword anymore. Nobody talks about The Legend of Zelda. The series peaked in relevancy on the N64. Since then, Nintendo's been using it as one of the many old ancient-ass icons that they used to hoist them up into some semblance of relevancy in 2021 after that failure catastrophe of ARMS when they actually tried to innovate. Well, they failed there too. Skyward Sword HD does not deserve your money. This game is going to be the biggest laughingstock of the entire gaming lineup of 2021. What does this game bring to the table? What are they doing? They have the balls to ask you for $60 of a game that was released on the fucking Wii. Nintendo have lost their minds, but unfortunately, I know the Nintendrones, they never had minds to begin with. All they have is a pocketbook, a blank check, a smile on their face, and a will to dance in front of their YouTube camera like the fucking marionette they are, shouting, "Look at my port of my old game. It's so awesome, guys. Xbox doesn't have it." Well, quite frankly, Xbox doesn't want that shit. We actually have something much better. Check this out, guys. You know what Xbox has? Backwards compatibility, where if we have a game that released in the same era as Skyward Sword, we can go back and play it. And if it's Xbox One X enhanced, we get those improvements for free. We get that FPS bump. We get that resolution bump, all for free. Meanwhile, you idiots are stuck paying $60 when Nintendo decides to get off their asses, pretty up a game, bump the frame rate, and shovel it out to you to the tune of $60 out of your fucking pocketbook. You morons are gonna support this shit blindly because you don't know any better, and I'm here to whip you fuckers into shape. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is not worth your money. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is ruining the gaming landscape, and as you already know, it's not surprising at this point that Nintendo still tries to milk on franchises, but that's not their most egregious offense. The Legend of Zelda should have been killed 20 years ago. It should have been shot in the head, taken out back, and buried 10 feet deep, never to return. But Nintendo chooses to resurrect it every few years. Do you want to know why? It's because they don't know the definition of the word innovation. But, like I said, that is not their most egregious offense. Relying on old franchises is something that Sony practices as well. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD represents the most egregious offense of Nintendo, is that they've gotten complacent and lazy, fit and content to sell you ports of old games that have literally no improvements. There is nothing about this game that is going to offer you a superior experience that playing it 10 years ago did not. And do you want to know why? It's because they know you're going to pay for it. All you drones are going to flock online to Amazon. You're going to flock online to the eShop. You're going to flock down to GameStop to get your grubby little paws on your copy of Skyward Sword HD so that you can parade around like a puppet singing their praises for bringing you the port of a decade-old game that was the most controversial and is the most hated Zelda game. There's not a lot of agreement in the Legend of Zelda community on which game is the best, but there is significantly higher agreement on which Zelda is the worst, and that is Skyward Sword HD without a fucking doubt. And you know what? Nintendo think that they're gonna get away with bringing a port of the worst Zelda game, not even just a bad Zelda game, a bad game period, over to the Switch because they decided, hey, the well ain't dry yet. No, Link's Awakening? Fuck putting effort like that in, even though it was a remake of a game that already existed. We're not even gonna do that. No, what we're gonna do, just grab us that original Wii source code, bump the res a little bit, bump the frame rate a little bit, shovel it out to these idiots, because you know what? They've shown us that they have absolutely no desire for innovation. They do not support creativity. They just want the same shit repackaged over and over again. And that is exactly why The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is ruining the gaming landscape. You guys actually think Breath of the Wild 2 is coming? You guys think that that's going to be a game released on the Switch? They're going to wait for that fucking Switch Pro or the Switch 2, and it'll be exclusive to that because Nintendo wants you to buy their fucking hardware. Skyward Sword HD is to confirm just how lazy they can get and how much money they can make from all of you idiots holding on to your little Nintendo plush dolls, your Mario plushes, and you've got Link postered all over your wall, and you've got your fucking Nintendo hat on because you gotta catch them all. Well, they're sure selling you them all in the case of porting these old games with zero effort and expecting full price for it. Nintendrones, wake up. You are either on this fucking train to stop them, and you are with me, full frontal assault, saving this industry, or you can get the fuck off, and you can hang out with Nintendo in the back, where they've got you dancing like a puppet, they're playing you like a fiddle, and they're gonna cash that blank check that you wrote them, and they're gonna laugh all the way to the fucking bank, because you idiots are nothing if not predictable, and nothing if not wasteful with your money.